Okay, it's been about 2.5 hours and the board has set because it's warm out. Now, sometimes depending on how warm and the humidity, it might take you a little bit, in your area it might take you longer, it might be really quick. The hotter the temperature, I forgot to mention, the quicker the epoxy will cure or will set. So your working time might not be that long. So it's really dependent on temperature as well. I'm quite pleased with the color. I'm going to flip it while it's still kind of soft. Now, when I touch it, nothing comes off, so that's good. So it's not sticky. So I can flip it, so I can cut out the cut lap in my instance. You don't have to do this if you're doing a free lap. Something I want to mention though, when you're touching the board from now on, wear gloves. You do not want to get any oil on the board now because it can cause you problems later for fish eyes when you're doing the hot coat. So gloved hands only. Very, very important. Super important. Try not to contaminate the board. Now, I have my X-Acto knife, a razor blade of some sort, and I'm going to now just score and try to remove out all this tape and clean this up. Something I'm not too happy about, and bear with me, I apologize that maybe I shouldn't have done a tint board for these series of videos because it's not really meant for beginners, but it just happened that I'm building this board and I would do a video series on it. But where I've never really did a great tint job, and I'm still experimenting. I have thicker spots here, and I didn't realize that the epoxy, the tint, or I should call more accurately the pigment, was so opaque. So I didn't really have to worry about overlapping and causing the tint, if it was tint, to cause one part to be light and then say the part here where it overlaps to be darker. What I was trying to do, what I was attempting to do, and that's why I didn't do the relief cuts at the beginning, which you should do the relief cuts at the beginning. And I'm gonna, when I laminate the deck, I'm gonna do the relief cuts, which is more suitable for a beginner, so that you laminate in and then you laminate here in the back so that it overlaps, so you don't get these bumps. I got this bump because I was trying to compensate to fill in some gaps because I did the cuts while it was wet. Not the best idea. So same with the nose. What I'm going to have to do is sand this down and clean it up. It just creates a little more work for me. I think it should come out pretty good. I don't know, but hey, that's part of the fun in building your own boards. So learn from my small mistake or big mistake. If you are doing tinting or some sort, it's not as easy as you think. So again, I would avoid it on your first board. I just happened to do this because I wanted just to see if I could do it, and it came out okay. Anyways, on to what this video really is about, is removing the tape and the excess fiberglass for the cut lap. Turn on the other GoPro. I'm just going to start somewhere where I can kind of see the line. And I'm doing this now, again, as I mentioned, because the fiberglass is still kind of soft. The epoxy hasn't completely hardened. And that really makes a difference, because if by tomorrow this is going to be so hard that it'd be really hard to cut with a knife. Not impossible, it just will take you probably twice as long. And don't worry about scoring down too deep. You're going to fill that in anyway with a, well, in my case it'll be a line. So just score and then try to remove. So as you can see, as I scored it, it removes quite easily. So I'm just going to keep scoring up here and work my way back. Actually, I should work this way. No, work this way. I'm right-handed. So as I mentioned, when laminating the tail and the nose wasn't that clear, I'm going to redo. When I do the deck, I'll be a lot more clear for the lamination, for the overlaps of the fiberglass. I'm going to do the nose separate. As you can see, it's a little globbed here. That's going to get sanded. I'm going to do that tomorrow. For now, I just want to get this tape off before it gets hard, so it'll be a lot easier. So I got a few little spots on the white I got to touch up. Just touch that up with some white paint or some of the filler. The nose up here and the tail back there, you get the idea. This is going to take me a few minutes probably to cut through. I don't know if I bother to show it on the video. So I have to sand anyway. So this might take me a little bit while. Probably should get some safety glasses because I'm pushing on that pretty hard. The last thing you want is the X-Acto knife blade flinging up into your eye. So because this is so thick here, this might not cut so easy because it's cured. What I might do is just take a Dremel to it later. Just cut it out. But this gives you an idea what needs to be done. So I'm going to clean this up tomorrow. All I'm going to do is knock this down with some sandpaper, smooth it out. Fill it, touch up all this section here. I don't know if I'm going to bother to show that on video. It's probably unnecessary. You guys get the idea. So overall, it looks pretty good. Not bad. Got, you know, a little bit of seepage underneath, but again, I'm going to clean that up, and then we're going to do a pin line on that. That should fix that right up. So I guess for now, that's it. I'm just going to play around with this a bit just to remove this, but you guys get the idea. Just going to score around, pop this off. Where the thicker spots, I might just take a Dremel to it. Anyways, again, I'm going to show the proper way of doing a lap when I laminate the deck. So just bear with me. I know you guys, if any of you guys are building a board at the same time, this is probably the part where you're probably going to have the most problems. As you can see, I still have problems, and I've made probably well over 10, maybe 12 boards, and I'm still kind of learning at it. Okay, so the epoxy has set. These laps actually came out better than I thought they did. What I'm going to do with these is I'm going to grind them down. I'm going to sand them. You can use a hand sander. I'm going to use this oscillating tool because it allows me fine control. I can just get in there and just do a little bit at a time. I'm going to vacuum it while I do it because you're actually sanding fiberglass, so it's going to make you itchy. So that's not so fun. The other thing is, depending if you've done a cut lap or a free lap, if it's been a free lap, you're going to want to sand down all of the spots where you have stray pieces of fiberglass. Mine's a cut lap, so it's a little bit cleaner looking, but nonetheless you still have this high ridge here that's higher than the foam. And what I like to do, this is kind of a, there's a few ways you could sand it. I don't want to sand it because I'm going to lose color, and that'll make it maybe look a little, a little bit lighter than the rest of the board at the edge. And I don't like nicking the foam either, because then I have to repair it and kind of fill it. I use a piece of wood or some other similar material, piece of plastic, and I just push down all the way around right here, right along the edge, so that there's no edge, and that's it. So this is kind of a way to tuck, or I should say smooth out your lap, and that's all you got to do. I'm going to sand this after. I'm just going to do a quick around the perimeter of the spot where the lap meets, and I'll sand this, and then we'll be laminating the deck. And I did get some blue on parts of the board. I'm just going to touch that up with some white paint. I won't bother to show that. And I do have some little holes here I need to fill just because I nicked it. But anyways, so you can feel free to make some repairs as you go. So I'm just going to go around the board real quick. So here, there's a ridge, no ridge. Also, if you have little strands of fiberglass that are loose, be careful and just sand them off. If you're doing, like I said, if you don't have any color in with your lamination layer, you don't really have to worry about that. Just sand away, but just don't sand through the glass, obviously. If you watch any of the videos of the pros doing it, they'll probably do it much different than I am, but this is kind of just the homebrew method. And as you can see at the nose here, I've already sanded it. I've gotten rid of that big blob. This looks all blotchy and like dull compared to the rest, obviously because I sanded it. When resin hits this, new resin, it'll pop. It'll just turn blue again. So don't worry too much about that. And if you're doing no color, it's just resin with fiberglass with no tint in it, the fiberglass will have, it'll be clear. You'll actually see right through it. The weave will disappear into the glass. That's something I forgot to mention in my other videos. But that's why you can see through. It's like crystal clear depending on the type of epoxy that you use. And surfboard resin, traditional polyester resin, certainly is very crystal clear depending on the type that you use. If you're making a polyurethane blank or a polyurethane board. Now this little trick I think really only works with styrofoam EPS blanks. I don't think this will work so well with polyurethane foam because I think polyurethane foam might be a little bit denser. That you'll probably have to sand. to make this ridge go away. Okay, now I'm going to sand this here. Put my mask on. Get my tool. I'm going to spend a couple more minutes on it, but I'm not going to bother to show it on camera because it's the exact same. So you just want to sand it so it's smooth, level. The smoother you get it now, the better it is for later, because if you get any ridges here and you do your gloss coat, or your, I should say, hot coat or gloss coat, when you start sanding, you're going to end up sanding off the high spot first because it's higher, and what you'll end up having is a burn through, and then that just becomes a pain to repair. So the smoother you can keep things throughout the whole process, the better. Okay, well, next video we'll cut the glass for the deck, and then we'll glass the deck. Thanks for watching.